Hello and welcome. You're listening to the West Clay Realty Podcast, hosted by Scott Pollard and Joe Kempler.
Welcome once again to the West Clay Realty Podcast. I am Scott Pollard and this is Joe Kempler. Hello, Joe.
Hey, Scott.
How are you doing today?
Good. Good start of the year.
Yes. 21. We're going.
Right. Sort of. Well, we're coming off our best year so far, so looking forward to another great year in 21.
Well, going into that, that actually brings us to this subject of this podcast today: is picking an agent, choosing an agent. Do you want someone that is a friend? Because you have so many friends in this area. I have a lot of friends in this area, and so many times we both hear it. I know it because we talk, that, oh, well, I would go with you guys, but I have a friend or a friend of a friend. But Joe, what are some things that an intelligent buyer or seller, let's talk about how to pick an agent. What are some things that you would say some people just don't think about?
Well, friends are an okay place to go. However, I would say friends, you should sort of pick the experience level that your friend might have in the real estate market. Just because they're a friend, you're not necessarily doing yourself or your friend a favor by picking a friend. However, if your friend has been in the real estate market, knows the market, can give you great service and advice, friends are okay. And certainly I've had friends who have come to me early on in my career. I had friends who didn't come to me because they felt like I wasn't, established yet or knew all of the ropes. But later on in the real estate game, some of my friends have still come to me and actually used my services, and we can separate the friendship from the business aspect of it. So you have to think about both the business and the friendship and whether or not it's going to work.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that it's nice to be able to get along with your agent, but getting along with them is great. But if they don't know what they're doing or they're in the wrong area, you're doing both of you, as you said, a disservice. So I would say, I think we're agreeing that experience, knowledge of the market, knowledge of the price range that you're looking in. There's some agents that deal only in a certain price range, whether it be under 500 or under 200 or over $1 million. So that could be part of it too. You could say, well, you go to X agent and you think, well, that's my friend, but I'm selling my house. It's a $1 million house, and they've never sold a house in that price range before. Are they going to be the best agent just because they're your friend? Are they going to be the best agent for you? So I think that Joe hit it right on the head there. With chemistry is nice. It's nice to get along with your agent, but can they do the job to the best of your satisfaction and their satisfaction? So, well, we kind of talked about the marketing and how an agent can do the best for you, but as an agent you formerly were in marketing for one of the biggest companies in the world, IBM, for many years. And so I think that that's part of what attracted me to becoming an agent with you in West Clay Realty, was because I felt like you have such a great handle on marketing. Talk a little bit about how marketing is so important for an agent to know how to get your house in front of as many eyes as possible.
Well, marketing's always been a passion for me. I've spent many years in the major corporation world, in mostly marketing, but I did have a lot of experience in the sales environment too. But marketing is important to know where you need to be as far as putting your property or listing out there to the public. So could be print media, could be social media, could be a number of different areas. It could be postcard marketing, although that may or may not work. It may be looked at as mostly junk mail.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of different avenues that you can go into as far as marketing. But marketing is important, and the quality of the marketing is important. Having good photographs of the property, aerials if it's needed, doing videos, doing 3D, a lot of different avenues as far as marketing goes.
I think sometimes it gets looked over. As a former consumer myself and a guy that was buying and selling houses in different areas before I became an agent around the country because of my former career as an NBA player, I kind of overlooked the marketing part. I thought more about just here's the number, sell my house. And I didn't pick an agent based on anything other than just whether it was an introduction or somebody I knew or somebody that knew somebody that I know, a friend of a friend kind of thing. And so I think that a lot of people overlook that. And I hope they heard what you just said, because I think that the ability for an agent to get your home in front of as many eyes as possible, the correct eyes, is very important. Sometimes I've heard from clients that they've gone with a 1% agent or the larger companies that are doing it for very discounted things. And it's like, well, yeah, it's on this big website or that big website, but so is everybody else's house. What helps set your house apart from those big companies that just have every single listing, period? That's great for window shopping, but how am I going to separate my home from all of those? All our listings list on those big websites as well, but then in addition, we do additional marketing that helps set our clients' homes apart from other agents in our area. Can you talk a little bit about that, Joe? How we separate ourselves from the pack with some of the details of marketing that we do?
From our standpoint, we look at doing everything on a professional basis. For the most part, we'll hire someone to come in and take quality photographs of the house and the grounds. Staging, we may get involved with staging a home, making sure that it's ready to be marketed or shot as far as the photographs that we take. We use high quality stock, card stock or materials for our leave behind brochures. We'll do 3D tours so that people can see everything in the rooms in the house that would be important to them.
I think especially right now, I don't want to interrupt you, but especially with the way things are right now, there are people that are hesitant to bring their family into a strange home. So they would love to see online on our listings as much as possible about that home before actually venturing into someone else's home, especially if it's occupied, because of what's going on in the world right now. And so those 3D tours, don't discount those people. I've seen listings, $1 million listings here in Indianapolis with the agent going around snapping photos on their phone and uploading that as the photos of the home. Maybe they think that you're saving money or going with an agent that is just doing what they need to do. But these little tricks that Joe is talking about, 3D tours, high quality photos done by a professional photographer, some of these things that we do help separate our listings from some of the other listings. Please continue, Joe.
Right. So providing those types of things, the putting together a complete comparative market analysis, a CMA, is important so that the seller knows what to expect as far as an offer, or at least putting a listing price out there. In 2020, I would say that the average sales to list price was 97 or probably closer to 98%. So that says that you better be right on with your price. If you price it too high, you won't get any showings, and that would be another thing that you need to be careful for.
And that what Joe, I think you're talking about is picking an agent that isn't just going to say, "Oh, you want to list your house for $1 million? Okay, let's list your house for $1 million. It might be worth $750,000, but I'll do whatever you tell me to do." An experienced, an intelligent agent that knows the market, knows the area, knows your home, and knows its value can give you that instruction and say, "Hey, listen, I know you want $1 million for your home, but it's a $750,000 home." So, as Joe just said, you, especially right now in this market, need to be, your agent needs to know within about a 97% accuracy rate, uh, because if you list too high, it does absolutely get lost in the shuffle. As an agent, I can tell you, when people think, "Oh, you know what, I'll just list high and see if people will bite." You might. It might happen. I'm not going to say that it cannot happen. However, when you do list too high, you run the risk of having people just look past your home. "Oh, this neighborhood doesn't support $1 million homes," just to go back with that number. But you've got yours listed over $1 million, and all the rest of the houses in the neighborhood are in the 850 to maybe 875 range. Again, just using random numbers. But that can get your home overlooked, and all of a sudden your home's sitting on the market 2, 3, 4, 6 months, a year, because you listened to your agent who just told you, "Oh, sure, we'll list it whatever you want and we'll get it. I promise you." So that's another thing to keep in mind when you are choosing an agent. But it all comes back to, do they know the market? Do they know the area?
It's also setting the expectations. Again, the seller or the buyer, you need to set the expectations on what is going to go on in the process. And so setting those expectations are important in selecting an agent. So whether it's buyer or seller, there are certain things that you want to be looking for. Understanding the area in which someone is going to be either buying or selling in. You want someone who has that knowledge, who's had that experience. So those are some of the main things for finding an agent.
Managing clients' expectations, you mentioned it, and that was actually one of the next subjects I wanted to go into. When it comes to setting the table as an agent, this is what I can do, this is what I'm willing to do, but there are some things that we're not able to ethically or legally, as well as I don't know about morally, that seems like a strong word, but kind of going back to this price thing, I think both you and I, and really, again, going back to years ago when I decided to become an agent, specifically because of you, because our thought process lines up fairly well. And so when you're setting a client's expectations, on just back to the price issue, what's something that you can say beyond just giving them the market data, or is there something to say to help manage expectations? Because I've run into it with clients where they say, "Well, no, I actually absolutely have to have this number," and I will say, till I'm blue in the face, "Well, I mean, that's on the top end. I wouldn't let you. I would suggest that you hire a different agent if you're going to go above that number. But I will do my best to get that number for you."
I guess the question I would ask them is, how soon or how motivated are you to sell your house? If you don't feel like, or if you do feel like you have the time to wait for that certain buyer to come in that will be like-minded to you and your thoughts, then that's fine. Just need to understand you may suffer from being on the market too long, which causes you to reduce the price. So
in order to get seen again, as I was saying earlier, you kind of get lost in the shuffle. When you list high, people just pass on by your listing. They don't even look because you're up out of the category that they're looking in. And then all of a sudden your house is listed for a while and it gets lost in the shuffle, so to speak. As a buyer, or I'm sorry, as a consumer, whether you're selling or buying, but as a seller, A lot of people, most of us, are moving from one house to another in the area. And so that's another factor that you have to think about. And that's something that we do as agents to try to manage our clients' expectations. You want to get as much money out of your house. Yes, we all do, right? But if you're planning on buying a home and it's contingent upon the sale of your home, then that's another thing that you need to keep in mind as far as listing your home. Yes, you want to get as much as you can, but you found a house you want to buy and you're thinking, well, this purchase of my new house is contingent on the sale of my old house. So I have to be very realistic and probably listen to my agent when he or she tells me what I should list my home at.
And I just had a very recent experience with that, where we had a buyer who wanted a certain house. He loved the house. They loved the house. They ended up putting in an offer before we even had a plan on selling their property. So they went ahead and took the gamble, and it was about a 45-day gamble that they could sell their house at the same time or in conjunction with buying this house. So we were able to put a plan together where we put a sales price on their house, and it sold within a couple of days. So everything worked out, but that's because they were willing to do the right thing in setting I set their expectation, but they agreed with that expectation on selling, and we were able to make it work within that about 45-day period.
Changing subjects a little bit now, just a few quick things because we do go into in different podcasts regarding staging your home, selling your home, and also buying on the buy side. What are, say, one or two quick things that someone can think about when it comes to selling your house?
Well, one of the things is make sure that they declutter, get things out of there, take all the personal items out, make sure that it is basically move-in ready, make it a model home that people would see themselves living in, so that things can go a lot smoother with them having done all the work prior than having an inspector come in there and find things that need to be fixed.
Right, and I think that's what we're getting at there really quickly is just not remodeling the kitchen, just making sure that everything's functional in the kitchen. Make sure that there's no light bulbs out and minor repairs. Is the carpet clean? Is the home clean? And as Joe said, even if you have to box up things and put them in the garage, people can see past that because they think, okay, they're moving. So their garage is full of boxes, but at least I'm not looking at their stuff that is cluttering the house. Same question on the buy side. When you're looking as a buy agent and you're helping clients, you're setting their expectations. We're going to go walk into some stranger's house, but also not just that, but maybe touch on again quickly if you want. Personally, how can you get yourself ready to buy a home? Let's start first with walking into a house and what your expectations should be as a buyer.
Well, one of the things, you have a criteria that you're going to be working with going into a house. Hopefully your broker has been able to scale down or find the properties that meet those criteria. Sometimes because of the internet, we're going to be given a list of homes to go into that we may or may not have picked for a client. So again, setting the expectations, you want to look at the layout, the configuration, to make sure that that's something that you can live with over the next few years or lifetime. And if you are looking at it for a shorter term than a lifetime, resale how it will be on resale. So you don't want to necessarily be priced out of the market when you first buy, but there are certain things to look at as far as the structure of the house, the condition of the mechanicals, and so forth.
It's like you walk into a house and say, "Oh my gosh, I love this house. I don't care what it costs. I'm just buying it." And you disregard your agent saying, "Well, it will be the most expensive house in the neighborhood if you buy it at that price." Think about resale. If you're going to be here for a long time and you plan on, then hey, maybe that's worth the risk to you if you absolutely love the house. But if you're thinking, hey, I'm going to be here for the short term, but I might get transferred in a job, or we may upsize or downsize, well, then you don't really want to be the most expensive home in the neighborhood. And that's just a quick example. Well, that's the end of our discussion for today. Please listen to all of our podcasts. They're all up on our website, westclayrealtors.com. And we're on a lot of the platforms, probably all the platforms you normally would listen to, or anywhere you want to get to listen to our podcast. Please do. We have our Twitter page, which is West Clay Realty. Our Instagram is the same. Please respond. Don't hesitate to ask us a question. Our emails will be on the website. Feel free to reach out to the social media pages. There's any number of subjects that we would love to have a question about, and maybe even make another podcast about as we move forward. So listen to them all. Give us questions, see if you can stump us or hire us. That works too. We'd love to represent you and helping you buy or sell your next house or your current house. Joe, do you have anything to add?
No, I ditto everything that you said, and hopefully that everybody has a great year in this 2021 year.
Great 2021 to all of you listening out there. Thank you very much for listening to the West Clay Realty Podcast. Have a good one.
We hope you enjoyed the West Clay Realty Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ask questions. Who knows, your submission may be discussed in a future episode. Thanks for listening.